Okay, well, basically, what we have here with the puzzle bot, it is a Jetson. We have a camera, we have a leader, and those students, particularly on the bachelor degree in robotics and digital systems, they are basically learning how to program the device. So one of the main advantages of this undergrad we have at Tec de Monterrey, it is basically that we are concentrating on teaching them basically the programming of the robots. We have as well at Tec de Monterrey mechatronics. Well, they are learning how to better integrate electronics, mechanics, and computings. And in the Bachelor of Robotics and Digital Systems, they deal with software engineering for robotics, basically. So as you can imagine, at the beginning, they learn how to set up all the system, how to program with the Jetson. But one of the most amazing things is how we can push them to as well integrate new components, as it was the case on developing a gripper, integrate that gripper on the platform. And the main idea was to set up a task when they have to navigate along the space. It's an unknown space, so they have to rebuild by using the SLAM. And once they can achieve how to navigate with a robot and integrate the gripper, the main idea is that there is a user, someone, a human, that indicates to grasp certain object. So the robot needs to navigate in the space he have already built, and then find the path, localize the object, grasp the object, and put the object abroad. So what are the most interesting things? Can we move a little bit, maybe 1 minute after? Just no, in the video. Close to the end.
Oh, close to the end.
Yeah. I just like to move. Okay, this is a real experiment when we have the robot with the known space looking for the object, grasping the object, and allocate the object to be fixed in outer space. So they spent the full semester working on that challenge. And what I like to underline is that this is a new model that we have at Tec de Monterrey. They are learning how to program the devices. They're learning kinematic, dynamics, control, programming, and they are submitted to receive a challenge. In that case, the company defined the challenge, and we were at charge on supervising the students to achieve those results. So as always, as we have today is the Teachers' Day worldwide, so we're very happy I'm very proud of my students. So the next one, please. So I just like to present you a little bit about Tec de Monterrey. We are by far the largest university in Mexico. We have the presence nationally in 20 states. So it is a university founded 81 years ago, and it was established in Monterrey. We are close to Texas. We have already graduated more than close to 500,000 alumni. We have a very good recognition worldwide. We are basically an engineering school, and of course we have a business school, and we have humanities, and we have other areas. But we are basically university industry oriented, basically. So we have a very strong relationship with industry, and as you can imagine, one of the main challenges now with ROS Industrial is how we can better integrate a ROS in the curricula. So we are basically starting with the robotics and digital systems bachelor. So we have very nice dynamics with this project. We have regular meetings with my friends of the University of Manchester in the UK. So we are collaborating together. So we have the sessions twice a week. We have 4 hours of collaboration with our partners. So in that way, the students are at the same time learning about the use of the technology, and we are teaching the subjects, and so they have the way to integrate the system. So the next one. Thank you. So the educational model, as is stated here in the slide, so it's now basically challenge-based learning. We have flexibility for the students because they can at the same time complement the engineering level with other subjects. So we have not exactly the traditional semester. So we have blocks of 5 weeks, and then we have 1 week at the middle in between the 3 blocks during the semester. We have the summer and we have the winter, of course. So in that way, we have the opportunities to allow the students to carry on all the curricula, and then in those breaks, they are actually having complementary material, and in some cases, they can concentrate in challenges proposed by companies. We have 1 semester in which we are inviting the students either to carry on an internship in a company or to be on a stage abroad. So one of the main challenges for my side is to use this flexibility on the educational model to train them to become very, very reluctant on the use of ROS, for example, in such a way to spend that time of the internship doing something with ROS, so that you can receive the students and you can propose them a real challenge on the use of robotics. So they have learned already ROS, and they can use that in such a way to make something that can be useful. So in that way, we can complement education. As well, we are pushing the students to find a way to understand how the companies are actually working, and of course, they are complementing those subjects with a set of toolboxes that we are providing them during the time they are developing the project. And as well, the next one, please. So as you maybe remember, 2022 at IROS, we have this slide that sometimes is useful, because most of the students, actually the new generations, are looking for the new challenges. So we are trying to alienate it. And in many countries, we have the obligation for the students during the curricula to spend 200 or 400 hours of time on social services. So we are now working in a very nice approach when we are spending those hours on the implementation of robotics to some of those challenges. For example, we are working in many issues related to mobility and inclusion at Tec de Monterrey, and we are trying to invite the population, the community, to propose social problems. And in the case of robotics, we are inviting them to participate, and of course, using something that can be implemented in ROS. The next one, please. So we started at the middle. So the gray ball is at the beginning. So they are in the first semester covering the traditional topics related with engineering. Then they choose computer science domain, and then they are moving. And as far as they are moving on the semester, they got concentrations in robotics. And we are starting using ROS at different levels. So that since the fifth semester, they start learning the basics on communications, IoT, the basic communication services that they have to use on ROS, and they start moving, implementing kinematics, dynamics, ROS control, computer vision, and of course, at the end, the fully integrated system for pattern recognition, AI, and so on. So this is more or less how we are moving the students along the curricula on the use and the integration of ROS for the projects. The next one, please. So we have more or less consolidated that according to the international regulation, you know, the ABET regulation we have for universities, we are supporting with the curricula, with the use of ROS, and we have discovered that in reality we are increasing the level of abilities for the students to carry on the design of new products. So one of the advantages we find on the use of this collection of materials and hardware that we can find in the fully integrated robotics, we are assigning tasks, for example, analyzing commercial products. And as you can imagine, they discovered that in the real world, not all the companies are actually using ROS. They have their own software. But one interesting point in the discussion is that at the end, is better for them to learn everything by programming by hand using ROS, even if at the end, the company to which they are working, they are not especially using those software. But as well, one of the things that we have discovered at the end is that I invite them to get in contact with the engineers of those companies. And even if they have their own proprietary software, sometimes they confess that they start using integrating ROS. So this is the kind of things that are very funny with that experience. We have some relations with integrators and vendors in Mexico, and in some cases they achieve to have answers from the companies in other countries, and they have this interaction. So for us, it's very important to have to allow them to have the language to really discuss on the technical issues, but as well in something that can be at the end the real life in their jobs. So it's very important for us that we have achieved, and as well we are trying to follow all the regulations and standards proposed by NIST. Thanks to Matt, I get in contact with Harrison, and he visited us last year at Tec de Monterrey, and we are trying to follow in all the standards for NIST. And I'm imposing as well in my classes to the students to follow all the EIC-XML definitions for the IEEE according to the standards on maps and all the ontologies. And at the end, it is very important because I always joking with my students that they are very good on programming. And when we are discussing, for example, intellectual property related with software, there is a myth that the software is not patentable. But at the end, what is in reality, when you have to apply for a patent, you can do either an apparatus or a methodus. And when you are developing software, normally you are developing a methodus, and then you are developing an algorithm, and then you are developing the code based on that algorithm. And I am always joking that this is exactly the way they are programming. They are first doing a method, and they are developing an algorithm, and at the end they are programming as we used to do in the past. But it's not the reality, actually. Normally people are going directly to programming. So this is the kind of best practices that I'm trying to promote with the students to really keep that philosophy. So one of the main points is to pass through the EIC-XML definitions. And normally you have to, with these norms from the IEEE, you can understand how to create the maps and so on. So I think that we need to impose certain kind of best practices in such a way to allow them to become more aware on the quality of the software they are actually developing. The next one, please. So very fast, one of the main toolboxes is to teach them to identify the TRL level. So not all the time we have the opportunity to teach the technology readiness level, that is very important for them to recognize that they are integrating a product or they are creating a prototype, which is the level in which they have to collaborate and participate with the other people and the vendors. Next one, please. And we are as well using some methodologies as design sprint that are very close to the agile methodologies we use in software development. So even if we are doing robotics, we are doing programming, so we have to promote the best practices on software engineering. So at the end, the students recognize that those practices are very useful for them in such a way to have a better employment. The next one, please. So thanks to this kind of strict methodologies, 2 years ago, we were with the Mexican team who achieved the 7th place in the X Prize, that maybe you have heard about these challenges, that the prize was $10 million. So we were in the first place for 3 hours. We had the $10 million for 3 hours. At the end, we finally lose all the money, but we were very happy with the results. We won some contests in the Netherlands, and we have a very good relation. Actually, we are invited to the GTC with NVIDIA with the results we have on educational robotics. The next one, please. So as well, I'm very proud of my students that they achieved to have invitations to the internships during the last year of the university. They are very popular now in Japan. I'm going to have this year almost 30 students in Japan doing the internship, and they are accepted that they are invited because they are very good in ROS. That's the reality. I have been with students in Essex, in the UK, in Vienna, at INRI in France, in Chalmers, and as well in Hello Robot. I had one student last year working with Aaron Essinger in Hello Robot. So it is basically because they are very good in ROS. So this is the main letter of presentations. One of those former students, Brian, is actually working at software with Matt. So that's very, very, very good. That the students are very, very, very performant on programming. Next one, please. So now we are trying to build a community in Mexico. So we are using a lot of materials for our companies, of course. We just acquired an animal from Robotics. We are working as well with the Center for Innovative Design and Engineering at the University of Denver. We are working with Hello Robot. We have acquired a lot of robotics for other companies. So we are trying to set up this community in such a way to allow the students and as well the companies in Mexico to become aware of the importance of integrating ROS, industrial ROS, basically. Next one. So this is an example of these exercises we are doing on promoting the use of ROS for developing tools that can be used for social impact. So we have presented at EduCon, this IEEE conference on education, some papers about the use of ROS for creating tools that can be useful for societal requirements. So we are combining research, innovation, and this Tech 21 model in which we are trying to put the students to be working all the time based on challenges. So, and at the end, we think that we can improve the way we can using the technology for societal pressures. Next one, please. So we are very proud to become part of your community that have been accepted 2 years ago. So now we are very proud to be part of this map, and I'm looking forward to have more strong relations with all of you. And of course, what I can promise you is that my students are very good, and they are trying to train as best as possible to be on the international arena. And we have already some very nice experiences. So now this is the point I would like to invite you to consider for the next ROS Conference Americas, and of course the people from all around the world are invited as well to come to Monterrey. So I'm very happy to tell you that my friend Dave Coleman, he promised yesterday to sponsor a hiking in Monterrey. He's an expert in Monterrey. He had spent some time there. So now we have a sponsor for a hiking. So thank you very much. So next one. So Monterrey, the campus is one of the largest campus of Tec de Monterrey in the city. This is surrounded by mountains. The campus is just amazing. We have very nice facilities, and I'm sure that we can host this conference next year in Monterrey. So we have more than 22,000 students at the campus. We have very nice installations. There is a lot of food, Mexican food, international food. So yeah, even Asian food as well. So we have everything you need to spend some fantastic days. So thank you very much for your time.